All right, today in Exodus 24, let's have dinner with God. This picks up in verse 9. It's just 3 verses here, 9, 10, 11. It says, Then Moses, Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 elders of Israel climbed up the mountain. There they saw the God of Israel. Under his feet there seemed to be a surface of brilliant blue lapis lazuli, as clear as the sky itself. And though these nobles of Israel gazed upon God, he did not destroy them. In fact, they ate a covenant meal, eating and drinking in his presence. So this is really interesting, when we stop and look at it. They see this heavenly vision of God. It reminds me a lot of Isaiah chapter 6 when I look at it, or Ezekiel chapter 1. So as I'm thinking about this, who did they see? And you'll have different thought processes. Some people say, they saw it was just a vision of the Father. Maybe, but even then, I don't think biblically that's necessarily correct. I think they saw Jesus. I think they were in the presence of Jesus. He appears, Christ does, all throughout the Old Testament, from appearing to Abraham, to wrestling Jacob, to the parents of Samson, to Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they were in the fiery furnace with those 3 men were. It's all throughout. He appears to Joshua. Isaiah, when he sees the Lord in the temple, he's seeing Jesus. So see, I think they saw Christ. And it even tells us there that, and though these nobles of Israel gazed upon God, he did not destroy them. They ate a covenant meal, eating and drinking in his presence. So that's what we see in the Old Testament. When God appears, it's always the second person of the Trinity. It seems when people interact like this, like I mentioned, Abraham having conversation with Christ before the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Jacob wrestling him. Right? You can go through and look. Joshua bowing before him as they prepare to cross the Jordan River and take the city of Jericho. It's Jesus. Jesus all day long. And I think this is the same exact thing here. So this had to be spectacular for them to look upon and to see. And even tells us that they had a meal. They ate a covenant meal. So God wanted them to eat and drink in his presence. There was fellowship there. And so oftentimes when covenants, which just really in an old-fashioned way of thinking are just contracts, is what they were. They were agreements between people. When a covenant was made, many times there was a common meal of sealing that covenant. There was a shared meal. And that was something they just did in the culture. And so I feel like God's kind of bringing that in. And they share this covenant meal together. And it's so interesting to think about the men listed and the 70 elders sit and eat in the presence of Jesus Christ in the book of Exodus on the top of Mount Sinai. It's fascinating stuff. Talk to you later.